Hello and welcome. Thank you all so much. Looks like we are live. So we're live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Instagram, and live on TikTok. Hello and good morning. Hello and welcome. I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend. And I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. I'm really grateful to have you here with me today on another episode of Deportation Defense Live. I'm recording this. It's the 31st of May of 2022, and we're live, and thank you all so much for being here. Today I want to talk about prosecutorial discretion, and really I want to talk about how prosecutorial discretion is not for everyone, and I want to talk about who it is not for. Okay, some people are not eligible for it, and we're going to look at that issue today. And so welcome, and thank you everybody for being here. I really appreciate your being here today. Here at Deportation Defense Live, we are here to train, to teach, to inspire, and to empower immigrants who are facing deportation to make the most out of immigration law, to make the most out of their lives, and to win their cases. Are you personally facing removal in immigration court, or do you know someone who is facing removal in immigration court? Because if so, you know that it is not easy. All right? It is an uphill battle. The laws are against us. And here, we are here to maximize your chances of winning that case. And that is what this is all about. Okay? Today, our theme is the topic of prosecutorial discretion. So what is that? And what is it not? Who is it not for? All right, it's not for everyone. So who is it not for? And how could you kind of maximize your chances of making it be for you? All right? Because sometimes it can be a game changer for you. And thank you to everyone who asked their questions. All right, I am behind schedule today for this topic in English, and so I will go a little bit quicker than normal at this so that we can still do this in Spanish. But if you have a question about this topic, please send it in. All right? Please send it in. And so we've got some time to devote to this topic in English, and then we'll do this episode in Spanish, and we will make it happen, and we'll start right now. Before we get into the questions, I do need to discuss the basics. As always, we want to discuss the basics, all right? PD, or prosecutorial discretion, is happening, people, all right? So what that means is that cases are getting closed in court. If ICE filed a notice to appear to deport someone, all right, some of those cases are now being thrown out in their discretion. All right, so what is prosecutorial discretion? It's basically asking ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, to please don't deport me. All right, close my case, stop my case, stop trying to deport me. Why? Because I'm a good person. Why? Because I'm not harming anybody. Why? Because I'm not a quote-unquote priority to be deported right now. All right, I'm not a priority. I'm not an enforcement priority. So ICE, focus your limited time, focus your limited budget, focus your limited resources on folks who are a quote-unquote priority. Don't focus your time, your budget, right, your resources on me. That's what a PD request is. Please close down my case. Why? Because I'm a great person. Right? I'm a great person. I'm contributing to society. Yeah, I violated some immigration law in the past, but please don't deport me anyway because I'm a contributing member of society. That is what a PD request is essentially. Got it? Now, the memos, the prosecutorial discretion memos say who is not eligible, who is a enforcement priority, who is not eligible to receive prosecutorial discretion. And they list them in terms of A, B, and C. So A, B, and C priorities, and they say it in this order, okay? A priority are threats to national security. And here they list people who have been suspected of terrorism, people who have been suspected of espionage, or people who otherwise pose a danger to national security. All right, otherwise pose a danger to national security. And so there it's like, okay, argue, right? Argue in your case that you've never done anything related to terrorism at all, and you have zero to do with espionage or spying, and there is no reason to believe that you in any way pose any danger to national security. Okay? So hopefully you can do that, and hopefully there's no evidence in the record that you have any of those things. If there is any evidence of the record, of any of that stuff, or even allegations of any of that stuff, it's going to be really, really tough to get prosecutorial discretion, okay? And there are people out there where the same government, where the United States government has alleged, has said, hey, we're denying your asylum case. Hey, we're denying some immigration benefit because we suspect that you were involved in such and such a group at some point in the past, and that group now is suspected of terrorism, right? And when that happens, you need a lawyer, all right? Let's fight that. Let's fight against those allegations. Those are serious immigration cases, and you want to be able to fight about them, okay? All right, and then B priorities are what they call threats to public safety. So there's threats to national security as your A priority for deportation. Your B threats are threats to public safety. And typically what they're looking at, and what the memos say, is typically because of serious criminal conduct. Okay? Typically because of serious criminal conduct. Those are the words in quotation marks in the prosecutorial discretion memo. And so if you have any criminal conduct and you're requesting PD, what you need to argue and what you need to show is that my criminal conduct was not serious. All right? And if it was serious, you need to show some serious mitigation efforts and factors in your favor in order to show ways around it. I'll get to that in a moment. All right? But if you do have serious criminal conduct, it's going to be more difficult because the government is saying here that you are still a high priority for deportation. Got it? And then they list priority C. All right? Priority C is what they call threat to border security. And here they're talking about people who are being apprehended at the border now, or people, I'm getting a pop-up on my screen, sorry about that, or people who are in the U.S. after unlawfully entering after November 1st of 2020. Get it? So November 1st of 2020. So if you entered on November 2nd, if you entered on November 1st of 2020, you are considered a priority for deportation, and you will not be eligible for prosecutorial discretion absent some serious mitigating facts. So then after they list that, A, B, and C priorities, the same memos, all right, they say, quote, there could be mitigating or extenuating facts and circumstances. All right? Those memos say that our personnel, ICE personnel, should evaluate the totality of the facts and circumstances and execute their judgment accordingly. Got it? And so even when there is someone who's priority A, B, or C, in theory they could show mitigating or extenuating facts or circumstances. And so what types of things would you need to show there? All right, what types of things would you need to show there? Well, they list it in the memos. They list some of the things that can be mitigating factors. For example, they say mitigating factors could include someone who's of an advanced age or of a tender age. Those are the terms they use. Someone who's really old or really young is a factor that could go in your favor. Someone who has a long presence in the United States is a factor that could go in your favor. Someone whose mental condition may have contributed to the negative conduct in the past. All right. Someone who has a physical or a mental condition that requires regular treatment. Okay. These are all factors that could go in your favor. Someone who is or was the victim of a crime in the United States. Someone who was the victim, witness, or a party in ongoing legal proceedings. That could go in your favor to get your case thrown out. All right. Someone, if you could demonstrate a high impact that your removal would have on your family in the United States. All right. And they say, such as the loss of a provider or caregiver. Okay. They say when the non-citizen may be eligible for humanitarian protection or other type of immigration relief, asylum, U visas, T visas, things like that. They say military or other public service of, the immediate family of someone. All right. They say the amount of time that has passed since the offense, the evidence of rehabilitation, whether a conviction was vacated or expunged. All of those things are possible factors that even if you're one of those priorities, you could submit them and you could ask them to close your case. Does this all make sense? What's the takeaway here? What's the takeaway? The takeaway is if you want prosecutorial discretion, if you're in immigration court and would love to not be in immigration court anymore, have a lawyer help you draft that request. All right? Argue that any, priorities that they see should be mitigated by mitigating factors, or argue that you are not one of their A, B, or C level priorities, and you could get that case thrown out, you could get that case dismissed. Okay? That is really the topic that I wanted to share today. And so thank you for being here with me. Shout out to everybody joining me on Instagram. I love it. Fred in America, Te Goricha, hello. Lacey Alcantara, hello. Albright Cookies, hello. Ray Lucier, hello. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on Instagram. I really appreciate it. Okay? And I want to get into your questions. All right? And thanks to everybody else who's joined me too. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. All right? I can't see everyone on all platforms, but I really appreciate your being here with me. If you've got a question, please chat it. Please send it to me. Text it to me. All right? And I'll answer it. One question that I've received this morning comes from Francisca. All right? Francisca. You say, can my husband fix papers or can he apply to a passport to come to the U.S.? His family is in the U.S. and we are all citizens. He got deported because he was in jail in California for a case that he never did, and there was no proof, all right? And I don't want to get into some of these details. They look intense, all right? But there was no proof of the case, all right? And he said that there were many cases in California like that, and they called, and he took a deal because they didn't want to have a lot of time in jail. And his name is, and he put his name there. So Francisca, thank you for asking that question. That is, it sounds like your father has it sounds like your husband had an intense case against him, all right? And it sounds like he's got a guilty conviction. And by the look of the conviction that you're listing, it looks like it's probably a quote-unquote aggravated felony conviction, all right? And so thank you for reaching out. You are not alone in that situation, and sometimes there are ways to bring people back, even with those types of convictions, the place to start is by starting to look at exactly what happened in criminal court to see if there's a way to, quote unquote, vacate that criminal conviction. Sometimes there are ways to vacate criminal convictions. In fact, the best way to vacate it is if he could show that he was never advised of the consequences of that guilty plea on his immigration status. If he was never fully advised that it would be an aggravated felony, if he was never fully advised of what the consequences of having an aggravated felony would be, then there's a chance that he could say that, hey, he was given ineffective assistance of counsel and he needs to reopen and vacate that guilty plea and then, and then fight against it. If he can do that, he could erase the consequences of that plea and then potentially be eligible to be petitioned to come back into the U.S. All right? These cases are possible. They are difficult. But yeah, we'd love to help you navigate that. If that, the best way to start is, give us a call and we can help you through our consultations process, and away we go. Okay? All right. My next question comes from Ramesh. Ramesh, thank you for asking it. You say, I received Department of Homeland Security letter I-797C notice of action. Okay. So Ramesh, thank you for asking that question. The I-797C it could mean all kinds of things. It could mean all kinds of things. It means that some kind of action was taken. What you need to look at is you need to look at where it says notice type. Maybe it's just a receipt notice, all right? Maybe it's a transfer notice from one location within the government to another or to a field office. Maybe it's an approval notice and your case was approved, all right? Like really look, in order to answer that question, I need to know what type of I-797C it was, and then we can get you more details about it. Okay? All right, let me see if I've got some other questions. It looks like Christopher Carbajal is there saying hello. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. It looks like that's it for today. So if you have a prosecutorial discretion case, or if you are currently in immigration court right now, I highly recommend talking it through with an immigration lawyer, all right? And let's figure out what to do with it. Let's figure out whether or not prosecutorial discretion might be a great option and a great opportunity for you, all right? Or not. Sometimes it's not a great opportunity. I talked about cases in that situation just a couple of weeks ago, okay? And so, talk to a lawyer, call my office if we can help you. We would love to help you. And let's navigate that, all right? There's no one-size-fits-all advice for somebody in immigration court proceedings, all right? Every case is different, so you want to talk it through with a lawyer. That's what our consultations process is all about, okay? All right, everybody, so that's it. I hope this was useful. If I haven't answered your question and if you still have one, please do still send it in. I'd love to still answer it. If this was useful, as always, please subscribe to our channel. Please like the video or give us a thumbs up and click the notifications bell. You can receive more news like this, updates like this in the future. And if you have an immigration case, hey, please give us a call. We are here to help. All right? Thank you all so much. And that's it for today. I really appreciate you joining us. My name is Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And I will see you next week on another episode of the Deportation Defense Live. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.